Self-discovery on the way. Reflect, reset, be your best. Join the quiz, it's not a test. Feel the light, embrace the dawn. Empowerment is going strong. Daily lesson quiz, hooray! What did we learn today? Join the fun, let's all play. Reflect, reset, rise today. Morning gods, we shine so bright. Wisdom flowing pure insight. Tours through God's words, they lift us high. New beginnings reach the sky. Every moment take it in. Start anew, let's begin. From the dawn to the night, together we ignite. Daily lesson quiz, hooray! What did we learn today? Join the fun, let's all play. Reflect, reset, rise today.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to First Light Reflections, your weekday guide to self-discovery and empowerment, where each sunrise brings you and I a new opportunity to reflect, reset, and create the best version of ourselves. I am your devotional strategist and transformation coach, and around here we don't just read the Bible, we renew and transform our minds with it. And this morning, we are on a mission to break cycles. Family, some breakthroughs don't start with action, they actually start with awareness. And what if today's breakthrough is hidden in the words that you've been ignoring? God heard what you said even when no one else did. That moment that you mumbled under your breath, yeah. The conversation you called, "Oh, I'm just venting." The words you didn't think were, "Oh, it's not that serious. I was just joking." Guess what? Heaven recorded them. Not because God is waiting to punish us, but because he knows how powerful our tongues are. So our words are steering our destiny. And if we're not stewarding our speech, we might be derailing the very prayers that we begging and begging and begging God to answer. But before we dive in any further, let me take a moment to shout out those that are with us dedicated each and every weekday morning. Good morning, Sam. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Micah Flemings. Good morning, Michelle. How are you? Good morning, Charlotte. Sometimes. Good morning, Sister Lily. And good morning, Vanessa. Glad to see you with us this morning, Burton, as we prepare to go on our journey. And if you're catching this on the replay, you may be quiet, but I pray your growth is just as loud. And I'm glad that you're here with us. So let us do things decent in order before we get started. Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you as we prepare to go on this journey this morning, continuing deeper and deeper into your words through Proverbs. May we take what we learned today and apply this so that it truly becomes wisdom and not just head knowledge, Father God. Lord, we ask that you tabernacle with us this morning and may you be glorified in Jesus' name. Amen. So, family, let us not delay as we say good morning to Jessica and take a quick look at our poll question. Our poll question this morning is, what part of your speech convicts you the most? Private conversations is at 0%. Inner self-talk is 33%. My tone when venting is at 33%. And also at 33% is not inviting God in. So it'll be interesting to see how our poll closes out this morning. So we will leave it for now and pop back in with it as we look at our topic this morning. God saw that. Our devotional text continuing in Proverbs chapter 15, if it's your first time joining us, in verses 3 and 4 this morning. God saw that. All right. As I say, good morning to Jessica. Can't remember. I don't know. But good morning, family. Let's lean in because before our habits change, we must shift our language. And guess what? That starts right here. So, matter of fact, let's start here at this point. If we've been asking God to shift our seasons, which we do, right? Lord, give me a new season. I need something different. But But in that asking, have our words started to agree with the shift that we're asking for? Because it's possible that we're asking for rain while speaking drought. Our devotional text this morning reminds us that God isn't just watching our actions, He's also watching our atmosphere. The eyes of the Lord are in every place. See, that means your private rants, they matter. Your unfiltered group chats, the family chats, the chats that only certain coworkers are a part of, those unfiltered groups, they matter. Even our inner dialogue, the words that we've trained ourselves to repeat in silence to ourselves, the things that we say to ourselves, they all matter. Not because God is being petty, but because our words, they're creative instruments. And if your mouth is out of order, your life will also be out of rhythm. So before we ask God to do more, let's ask ourselves a harder question. Are your current conversations building your future or blocking it? That's our question of the day. Are my current conversations building my future or blocking it? Good morning, Mama B. Keep the question of the day in the forefront of your mind as we go through our lesson today, because language, the thing about language, it isn't just a mirror. It's also a megaphone, and what we keep repeating becomes also what we may end up reaping. So God just doesn't weigh our hearts, He also audits our habits as well. And our words are a habit that come with a harvest. There will be a reaping season. See, we don't just reap what we sow, we also reap what we say and do consistently. So let's go to the source, though. Don't you just take my word for me, like what Tor said, Coach said. No, let's go to the source and hear what heaven says about our sound this morning. Verse 3, the eyes of the Lord are in every place, keeping watch on the evil and the good. The eyes of the Lord are in every place. Now, let me just ask, throughout the day, on a scale of 1 to 10, no, we'll just do 1 to 5. 1 to 5, scale of 1 to 5. 5 being the highest. How often does it stay in the forefront of your mind that, man, God is watching this, God is hearing this? Be honest, be honest. On a scale of 1 to 5, does every move, every thought, every word, every action, you're like, ooh, God is seeing this? Or is the first thought, ooh, is anyone watching? Okay, well, nobody sees me. Even though in this day and age, nothing is hidden. There's cameras on every corner, there's stuff everywhere. You can't get away with nothing these days. But do you more so look around and say, oh, did anyone see me do that? Oh, okay, nobody saw me run that stoplight. You know what? I, man, they didn't catch these waters on the bottom of this cart. I'm not walking all the way back in this store. Nobody saw it. Do we remember? God saw it. The eyes of the Lord are in every place, keeping watch on the evil and the good. As we pick up these devices and we type and say, we're like, oh, is God watching me type that? Mm. Man, Michelle says 5. Charlotte says, about a 4. Good morning, Marie. So, family, it's, in the DM that we never sent, in the tone that we use behind closed doors. See, God's not eavesdropping to punish us. He's observing to align. Because when our language no longer matches our assignment, God is going to hold our atmosphere accountable. Verse 4, a wholesome tongue is the tree of life, but perverseness in it breaks the spirit. See, our tongue doesn't just affect others, it nourishes or fractures us. A wholesome tongue is a tree of life. See, we're either watering our soul with words of life or slowly splintering our spirit with careless, sarcastic, or even reckless speech. See, our speech is not just neutral, it's either forming fruit or creating a fracture, a divide, a break. So, how do we protect our mouth when pressure is high and no one is watching? Let's take a look at our poll question here and see where we're at now. What part of your speech convicts you the most? Inner self-talk has now went to 44%. The tone when venting at 22%. Not inviting God in at 33%. And private conversation sits at 0%. All right, very good, very good. So how do we do this? Let's get practical. The heaven mic check. Before we speak, we have to ask, would I say this if I remembered that God was watching? Is this aligned with what I'm praying for? Does this release life or is it leaking fear? Am I planting or am I poisoning? Does this reflect my current emotion or my spiritual identity? See, in family, this isn't censorship. It's not censorship. This is sacred self-governance. Putting a boundary in place for ourselves. Is this aligned with what I'm praying for? How is this going to affect me? Now, if I really truly believe, now I say I know God is watching, God sees all, that's what Proverbs told me. So would I really say this? Would I really do this? Sacred self-governance. That's what this is, family. See, the enemy doesn't have to silence us. He just has to train us to curse ourselves constantly and consistently. And he does it in such a subtle way. See, if he can influence us in how we speak about our future, our worth, our friends, our family, our marriages, our calling, he doesn't need to block any type of promise. He knows that we're going to do it with our own voices. We're going to do it ourselves. And see, let's turn the volume up a little bit more on truth this morning. Not just what to avoid, but also what are some things that we need to replace. See, and we need to understand, God's not spying. He's shepherding our sound. See, God isn't looking for reasons to judge us. He's simply overseeing our words like a shepherd oversees sheep. Because our language can lead or lose what we're meant to carry. See, our tongue is either a tree or a trap. We're either cultivating fruit or we're ensnaring our future. You know, how many times have we since we started this journey through Proverbs, has it warned us about the snares, the traps that are around the corner just waiting? Every word is a seed or a snare. Not all negativity is demonic. Some of it is undisciplined dialogue. Interesting point, right? Stop blaming the devil. Oh, Satan. Oh, the old enemy. Oh, that old rascal. Stop blaming the devil for the things that you're reinforcing through careless speech. But we turn around and we blame him. Charlotte says, you have just described my entire adulthood. I say the very worst things to myself. Charlotte, stop it. Stop it. And see, that's the thing. But if you think about this, these things that we say to ourselves, it came from somewhere. So we have to ask her, who made me think like this? What situations caused me to internalize this? We really, there's always a root to it. See, self-sabotage often hides in sarcasm and habitual doubt, and we don't realize it. We can't pray for rain and continue to curse the clouds. So we're asking God for breakthrough, but speaking words of breakdown. See, that's a contradiction. It cancels the progress. Cancels it out. You following me this morning, family? Is this making sense? Give me a one in the comments if you're like, yeah, it's making sense, but it's just hitting home this morning, coach. Charlotte's parents, friends. And see, we internalize these things after hearing it over and over and over and over. So we say, okay, I'm gonna have to figure out a way to deal with this situation and these people. And usually one of the first ways is verbally and in our attitudes. Mama B says, yep, I'm with you, Coach. Alicia, I'm with you. Michelle says, I'm there. So, fam, we have to understand we cannot be asking for these things, praying for rain, but cursing the clouds as soon as it starts to thunder and storm. It's a contradiction. It cancels out the process and the progress that we've made. See, the language that we tolerate, watch this one now. The language that we've tolerated, it also becomes the culture that we live in. Think about that. Think about it. The language we tolerate becomes the very culture that we live in. If we keep making room for toxic talk internally or externally, here's what happens. We create an atmosphere that's incompatible with favor. So let's cleanse the air. Let's align our sound. And it's time to let our words begin to agree with God's will. Let's take one more glance at this poll. Inner self-talk now sits at 55%. What part of your speech convicts you the most? Private conversation still at 0%. My tone when venting has now dropped to 18%, and not inviting God in has dropped to 27%. So the biggest thing is that inner self-talk, those things that we tell ourselves. And I always love it when Michelle says, interesting. That means Michelle's going, never thought about it like that before. You know, Coach, you might be on to something. So I love it when I see Michelle put interesting. So family, let's work on having our words agree with God's will. See, this is the watch of foundation and verbal discipline, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Think about it. Why would this watch? I'm going to let you tell me, why do you think this watch would be considered the watch of foundation and verbal discipline between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m.? What say you? What are your thoughts? Why would it be 6 p.m. and 9 p.m., the watch of foundation and verbal discipline? What say you? What would it be about this specific time frame? 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. It's been a long day. Tired. I'm hungry. Traffic drove me nuts on the way home. Forgot something at the store. Got to go back. That's it, Michelle. The day is winding down. Testing ground. The watch of foundation and verbal discipline. It's the time at the end of the day to reflect on what happened during the day. See, so this is when it comes in, when we start reflecting. And instead of calling 10 people about that coworker that drove you nuts, or the 2 or 3 people that cut you off on the way home, this is the time to go into the watch of foundation and verbal discipline. Work it out with the Lord. Go through the process and say, you know what? This isn't going to ruin my whole evening. No, it's not. I'm going to get this out of my system and I'm going to go on. Charlotte says, praying for sanity. Lily says, this should be towards the end of the day. It's time to reflect, right? And sometimes, instead of going into reflection mode, we also add reaction into it. The atmosphere is calming down. Good morning, Lee. So we ask, Lord, teach me to pause before I speak. Give me the discipline to weigh my words in truth. Let my tone reflect your kingdom, not my triggers and filter my speech through wisdom, not woundedness. And filter my speech through wisdom, not woundedness. See, we don't need louder prayers. We just need cleaner alignment, because heaven doesn't just respond to volume, right? It responds to a voice that's been consecrated. And if you want to really understand more about these prayer watches, you know what to do. Click the link in the description or scan the code. So now that we understand that our mouth is ready to be surrendered in prayer, let's anchor this shift that we're wanting to make today in how we carry our speech throughout today. Coming out of our devotional text, Proverbs chapter 15, we looked at verses 3 and 4. God saw that. He sits high and he looks low, and the eyes of the Lord are where, family? Everywhere. Everywhere. Here's your transformation cue. Today, I speak like someone who knows heaven is listening, because I know that he is. See, this cue, what it does is it realigns your authority with your awareness. The two meet together. Authority meets awareness. And we understand that God isn't just eavesdropping. This is to empower us. So when we speak with intentionality, we don't just echo our emotions. At that point, once we go through the pause, we release our assignment. Here's your mirror mandate. My tongue won't sabotage my next season. I discipline my mouth before it delays or destroys my mantle. Again, this isn't about perfection. This is our protection to help us become more self-governed, because our mouth is a gateway. And if it stays open constantly and carelessly, so will the door to the consequences that we weren't built to carry. God didn't want us to carry all of this. So let's bring it home, because our next level, your next level, might just depend on your very next sentence. You've prayed, you've fasted, you've asked God to move, but have you checked your mouth? Have we checked our speech, our tone, remembering God saw that? Because sometimes what's holding up the miracle, what's holding up the progress, what's holding up the journey is not a demon. It's not a delay. And guess what? It's not a dry season. It's a reckless pattern within our own voice. And today, God isn't asking for silence. He's just saying, hey, align with me. Work with me here. Let's come into alignment, agreement, and let's work on this thing. Let us walk together on this journey. As we prepare to close out our poll, what part of your speech convicts you the most? Sitting at the top at 55% is inner self-talk. Wow. Our poll revealed a lot for us today. Again, remembering, God isn't saying, look, just sit somewhere and be quiet. Don't talk at all. You know how when someone would say something, have you ever before, give me a 1 in the comments. Someone gave you constructive criticism, they gave you feedback, or, they said something. You're like, fine, I'm just not going to say anything anymore. I'm just not even going to talk. I won't say a word. So we stubbornly sat there. I'm not talking anymore. Me done talk. Me done. Mm. Have you ever done this one before? Oh, you don't want to hear what? Oh, okay. You don't want. I'm just going to stop talking. Sometimes we stay in that mode for just a few moments. Other times we carried on for a day, an hour, a week. Sister Lily said, yep. She put a 1 and a thumbs up. Didn't they come back and ask you something? I thought you didn't want to hear me talk. So I'm just being quiet. Passive aggressive. Come on, Charlotte. Michelle says, been there. Been there. I'm just not going to say nothing at all then. Boy, we can cut up and clown. Can we not? Can we not? So, family, God's just saying, come on, come on, come on. You're out of alignment. Come back over here in this lane with me. He's saying, speak like someone who believes that our words, truly believes, and there's nothing no one can do or say to convince us otherwise. And we're going to speak like someone who believes that our words build worlds, because they do. They do. Our words can either help to build this world up or tear it down even faster. So let's lock in what we've learned, right? And remember, I don't just teach the word, I train you and help you to transform with it. Y'all ready? Come on, let's go.
In the morning, light so bright, it's the first light reflections quiz time. Tornado leading the way with God's wisdom. Let's start the quiz and seize the day.
Let's go.
All right. God only watches our actions, not our words. Is this true or is this false? God only watches our actions, not our words. True or false? What say you, fam? Charlotte says that's false. Mama B says, Charlotte, you right this morning. So I'm going to agree with you sometimes. Oh, man. I love it. Let's see. That is false. God watches what we say and also how we say it. All right, fam. What does a wholesome tongue produce? Is it correction, a tree of life, conviction, or silence? According to our devotional text, what does a wholesome tongue produce? Correction, a tree of life, conviction, or silence? What say you? Oh, y'all were in the word this morning, huh? Oh, let me bring that down. My bad. All right, man. Clean sweep this morning. There we go. A tree of life. Man, I'm telling you, we're going to be Proverbs experts by the time we make it through the end of this thing. Saying, you might just get us a tip, man. You're doing good, saying. Keep up the good work. Keep it up, Greta Gardner. What does perverseness in speech break according to verse 4 of chapter 15? Mind, spirit, heart, or body. What does perverseness in speech break according to Proverbs chapter 15, verse 4? Was it mind? Was it spirit? Was it heart? Or was it body? Which one? A, B, C, or D? Shell with B. Vanessa says spirit. Okay. Sister Lily comes in with a confident B. Now Charlotte's like, I think it was B. I don't know now. I don't know. You know what, Charlotte? The fact that Mama B put B, I'm gonna say you probably pretty safe there. All right, spirit. Twisted words don't just offend, they also crush the spirit. Have you ever been so excited about something? See, this is what this passage means. You've been excited, you've been full of zeal, full of passion. And just one word or one sentence from someone, it just crushes your spirit. It didn't just offend you. Maybe it didn't offend you at all. It just sucked the wind out of your sails. I used to tell a friend of mine, man, you just sank my battleship and I ain't even get my boat in the water. Man, you just sank my canoe and I didn't even get my boat in the water yet. Man, sometimes it just crushes your spirit. That's what this means. Perverseness of speech. Just crumbling like paper, crushing the spirit. What's the first check? In the heavens mic check. Do you remember? How will this sound? Would I say this if God was watching? Will this go viral? Or is this honest? Now, according to our devotional text, because we know according to the world, it's what? Number 3. Will I go viral if I say this? Let me just make up the stupidest thing I can come up with to say so I can go viral. Mercy, 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 mercy. Charlotte says, I think it's 2. You guys in agreement with Charlotte this morning? Well, there we have it. There we have it. Mama B said it. I believe it, and that's enough for me. Burton. Let's see. That is correct. Self-awareness begins with God's presence awareness. Awareness of God's presence. Boy, I went around I-95. Whew. Easy to get from Fort Lauderdale to Miami than it did to get that sentence out this morning. Self-awareness begins with understanding God's presence. Mercy. Whew. Casual words spoken in stress don't carry spiritual consequence. Is this true or is this false? Casual words, idle chatter, just spoken in stress, just venting. Get it off your chest. It doesn't carry any spiritual consequence. True or false? Those things won't be written in the books. You know, God closes his eyes for a second and we're like, I didn't see it. I didn't see it. Remember playing hide and go seek as a kid? And every now and then you be looking through and you saw exactly what everybody, they like, close your eyes. I'm not looking. I'm not looking. I was the only one that did stuff like that. Family, that's false. Even careless words also help to sign on the spiritual contract. What is your speech creating daily? Drama, culture, popularity, or silence? You remember the statement I made? What is your speech creating daily? Is it drama, culture, popularity, silence? You know what? I'm going to add an E on this one. All of them. But I made a specific statement. But I'm going to add an E. All of them. Or both of them. What is our speech create daily? Oh, man. Vanessa says, you said B. You know what? You got Jessica in agreement with you. Michelle says D, silence. Lily says, I'm gonna opt for E and go with all of them. That way I can be safe. B, our words create the environment, the atmosphere, the culture that we live in. Remember, what are we reaping with those words? Because there's a harvest that's coming. What will the harvest consist of? All right. What is one goal of the enemy regarding your speech? To make it louder? Lord help us. Can you imagine some people getting louder? Somebody just went through your head and you're like, I can't even imagine them getting any louder. I know somebody just went through your head, didn't it? Put a 1 in the chat. Put a thumb. Yep. Make it louder. Keep it unclear. Make it self-sabotaging or just remove it altogether. What is one goal of the enemy regarding your speech? Make it louder? Lord, mercy. Woo! Couple of people just went through my head again. They can't get no louder. Mercy. I don't even know if these ear monitors could help me if they got any louder. Right? Somebody. See, I love it. Michelle says, interesting. We'll remember. Oh, my goodness. Let's see. Self-sabotage. Let's see. Which one is it? He wants to make it self-sabotaging so he doesn't have to do any work. He can just sit back and say, you know what? I think I'm going to go up. Maybe I get me a pedicure, manicure. I'm just going to go do something because you know what? They're going to handle themselves. The enemy twists our language so that he can trap and block our future. Your tongue is either planting or is it praying, paddleboarding, preaching, or poisoning. The tongue is either planting or praying, paddleboarding, preaching, or poisoning. Which one? According to our devotional text, we're doing one or two things. Remember, One foot on the river, in the river, one foot on the bank. Which one are we doing? Which one are we doing? I love it. Michelle says it's a blessing to learn something new. And the fact, even better, the fact that you're open to learning something new. Some people, this is the way I've learned it since my great grandma was a Baptist Epistle, and I'm not learning anything new. That's what I was told the word says, and that's what I'm going to believe it says. Mercy. Let's see. Let's see. That's it. Our words are the planting or poisoning. See, there's no such thing as neutral speech in the spirit. We can't be 1 foot here, 1 foot there. Can't straddle the fence. There's no such thing as neutral speech. What kind of language contradicts answered prayer? Is it faith-filled, aka humble, aka humble? You know, for some reason we just like to take that H off, like it just doesn't exist. Defeatist or confessional? What kind of language contradicts answered prayer? Faith-filled, humble, defeatist, or confessional? That tickles me every time. I'm like, the H is there for a reason. Does anybody know why the H is removed? Does anybody know why we put a Z in the middle of discernment and take the H off of and turn it into humble? Right? They all go together. You could see Lee caught that. Lee said, wait a minute, I got that. Yeah, Baptist, Methodist, Africa Episcopal, Luther Adventist. Just put them all together. Let's see, defeatist. Yeah, we got three. Are y'all sure? Man, y'all even got Michelle going along with this. Let's see. There we go. Speaking defeat nullifies what you've been praying for. Remember our example. Don't be praying for rain and then start cursing the clouds. Don't do it. All right. Why is the first watch, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., important for speech discipline? It's when emotions settle. It sets the tone for your evening. It brings prophetic dreams, or it helps your body rest. Which one? Why is the 6 p.m. to 9 p.m.? It's the first watch of the night, important for speech discipline. Emotions are settled. It sets the tone. Leads the way for prophetic dreams, or helps your body rest. Michelle says A. I'm pretty sure. Charlotte like, I don't know. I don't even know, man. Vanessa said B. Lee and Mama B. They both said A. So let's see. It sets the tone for your evening. You reset your words and realign your atmosphere. Reconnect where someone or something has thrown you off. See, Mama B, what happened? Don't listen to Sam when you look over and ask her for the answer. Don't listen. Family. We're not just being watched. God's not just spying on us. We're not just being watched. Look at it this way. We've been entrusted. And think about it, Vanessa, this ties with this week's lesson. We're not just being watched. We've been entrusted with an assignment. God's not hovering over us with suspicion. What they doing now? You ever have someone, give me a 2 in the comments. They give you an assignment. They say, no, you go handle it. But you turn around, they're peeking over your shoulder. How much salt did you put on that? Did you follow the recipe? Did you stir it? Did you wipe that down before? Micromanaging. God's not micromanaging us. He's not hovering over us with suspicion, looking. He's like, nope, I've given you the commission. I've entrusted you to it. So go forth. See, he's standing beside us with strategy. He's given us the play. He's given us the rule book. He says, now run the play. Run the play. Because when he listens to our words, He's not checking for perfection. He's measuring for our alignment. Does this line up with thus saith the Lord? So if we want to change our atmosphere, if we want to begin to shift our culture, don't just change your prayers, family. Change your posture, change your pattern, and change your mouth. Because our words aren't just fillers, they're a foundation. And every sentence that we speak is either building faith or silently destroying the very future that we're constantly, day in and day out, asking God to bless. But the moment that we align our words with wisdom, guess what? Your future starts healing forward. All right? Until next time, family, walk good, do good, be good, and remember the pause today. Go through the questions, sit in the moment. Until next time, all right? Be good out there. Soon forward, all right? Be gone.
Wake up to the sunrise glow. First light reflections, here we go. Torah uses God's wisdom to guide us every day. Self-discovery on the way. Reflect, reset, be your best. Join the quiz, it's not a test. Feel the